Shakshuka is a hearty, filling and comforting food. Anytime is shakshuka time. I'm gonna be adding a few extra ingredients. The flavors in here are divine. Hello everyone, hope you're having an amazing day. This is Queen Gary from Mazuri Kitchen, and today we're making shakshuka. If you've never had shakshuka, I'm talking about an amazing North African delicacy, which is simply eggs poached in a rich, flavorful and spicy tomato sauce. And by sauce, I mean a lovely combination of tomatoes, onions, garlic, bell peppers, a few traditional spices, sautéed in olive oil and simmered all together in one pot. For the record, I've never been to North Africa, but I found that these were the most common and traditional ingredients that were used for making a classic shakshuka. Today, I'm going to be showing you my version of shakshuka. I'm going to be adding a few extra ingredients which are not very traditional, but make it fancy and take it to another level. Shakshuka is a hearty, filling and comforting food, and honestly, every time I have it, it just makes me happy. I guess that's why it's loved and has become popular in different parts of the world, each having their own versions of shakshuka. What I love about shakshuka is that you can have it at any time of the day, be it for lunch, breakfast or dinner. I mean, any time is shakshuka time. You can also make it time and again and still absolutely love it. It may look complex, but if you follow the steps I'm about to show you, you'll find it super easy to make. So the next time you're having guests, friends or family coming around, try and impress them with this dish. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and click on the bell button to get notified every time I post new videos. So moving on to our shakshuka recipe, we're going to start by chopping the vegetables that we will use to prepare the tomato sauce. For this recipe, I'm using a yellow onion because it's mild and becomes sweeter when it's sautéed. I'm going to give it a dice and set it into the bowl. Moving on to the bell peppers, I'm going to grab a red bell pepper. I'll slice the sides to seed it, then I'll thinly slice or julienne it. I'll turn it and slice across to get a fine dice. I'll set that aside in a bowl. I'm also going to julienne a green bell pepper, dice it and set aside in a bowl. It's traditional to use 1 or 2 bell peppers, but since I like a burst of flavors, I'm also going to slice the sides of a yellow bell pepper and dice that as well. And all these gorgeous, glossy and colorful bell peppers going to add some sunshine to the dish. To add a bit of heat and flavor, I'm going to place 1 chili pepper on a cutting board. I'll slice it into half and seed it to reduce the heat because most of the heat is usually in the seeds. I'll dice, place in a bowl and set it aside. If you don't like the heat, you can by all means skip adding the pepper, especially if you're going to serve the shakshuka to kids. And also be careful not to touch your eyes after this part. Once everything is nice and chopped up, I'm going to drizzle a good amount of olive oil onto a hot cast iron pan, which is very traditional for this dish. I'm going to let the oil heat up until it starts to creep around the pan, and then I'll add some German sausages which I've chopped into bite-sized pieces. These are not traditional for the shakshuka, but I think they make the sauce more filling and add a nice flavor to the shakshuka. I'm going to fry the sausages until they're nicely browned, and then I'll remove them from the pan and transfer them into a bowl. Next, I'm going to add the diced onions into the pan and saute for about 5 minutes, stirring occasionally until they become soft and translucent. Looks like we are there, so I'm now going to crush some garlic into the pan and I'll saute until fragrant while constantly stirring for about 1 minute. Garlic tends to stick on the pan or burn while cooking, so you have to be alert. Next, I'm going to add the diced red bell peppers, then the yellow bell peppers, and lastly the green bell peppers. I'll give that a stir and then add the chili peppers. I'll also give them a stir and then I'll cook them until they're nice and soft. Look at how amazing and colorful the vegetable combination looks, and the flavors in here are divine. Now on to our dry spices. Traditionally, shakshuka is quite a spicy dish which includes spices like ground coriander, cumin powder, paprika powder, ground nutmeg, and cayenne pepper. So now I'm going to add some paprika, which gives it a nice smoky flavor. Some cumin powder. I'll also add coriander powder, a little bit of cayenne pepper to give it a kick, and some ground nutmeg, which is optional but also very traditional. I'm going to stir everything together and let the spices cook until fragrant. Next, I'm going to add the sausages back into the pan. I'll also add some tomato paste and mix everything together. I'm going to stir until the tomato paste has browned and no longer has a raw flavor. Now I'm going to open a can of diced tomatoes and add that into the pan. You can also use some fresh, ripe tomatoes. I'm also going to add a little bit of sugar to reduce the acidity of the tomatoes. Also season it with some sea salt and freshly ground black pepper. I'll give that a good stir to combine everything. I'll let it simmer for a while until the sauce thickens. The sauce is now ready, so I'm going to create some wells using my cooking spoon. I'm going to crack some eggs and add into the wells that we've made one at a time until I've filled all the wells. I'll also season the eggs with some sea salt and freshly ground black pepper. I'll cover the pan with a lid and cook the eggs for about 5 to 8 minutes. 5 minutes are now gone, so let's see how the eggs are doing. Shakshuka is now ready. And to finish this, I'm going to sprinkle some crumbled feta cheese. I'll also garnish with some chopped parsley, which is very traditional, and finally drizzle with some olive oil. I'll serve this on a plate, and of course, you know how it goes. My friends, you have to give this a try. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and click on the bell button to get notified every time we post new videos. Thanks for watching and bye for now.